Okay, so just to start with, let me not follow the generic convention of introducing myself and talking about me right on the first go. I'd like to say two things that happened today, one early morning and one right now, before I actually forget. One thing is true, I actually don't even remember 80% of the speech that I actually prepared. It's pretty much a lot of excitement out here, and yeah, I'm a bit nervous. Okay, so I remember waking up to Karan's call in the morning saying that the other speakers are waiting downstairs, so it would be nice if you could come down. I was like, okay, I was still in my pajamas, and okay, somehow I managed it. I came downstairs and I saw ma'am down there. I was like, okay, I guess I'm a little bit underdressed for it. So I basically had a t-shirt with a heart on it, it says I heart NY. Now, I saw the other speakers and everyone was pretty much formally dressed. I was like, okay, there's something not happening out here. Well, I thought I can't really do anything because I don't have formal clothes in the small bag that I carried all the way from Bangalore. So I thought, let's just consider it as I'm just a work in progress, and can you it's okay with it. The next thing that happened is ma'am told me, I walked up to her and I was like, hi ma'am, are you from Pathways? I was like, ma'am was like, yes, and you are? I was like, I was Ankur. I'm still Ankur, so yeah. So ma'am was like, I would have surely missed you on that. I was like, okay, that's fine. So that's one thing. It may not be really related to what I'm going to speak about. The next thing that I'm going to say, I was talking to someone right outside. And he asked me one question which I had in my mind when I was in your shoes a couple of years back, and it was like, so okay, I went through your CV and you really inspired me. Obviously I'm 21 years old and it's really a nice thing to tell me. Thank you, I felt good. So I was like, he asked me this, how do you do so many things and how could you really manage? You had college, you had school, you had marks to score and all those things. How did you do it? I was like, certain things are there. We were talking about black and white all this while. It's either right or wrong. I can take it as a right and a wrong, and there's a middle path. Most of us would never really go on that middle path. Now, sorry. Okay, so most of us would never really go on that middle path. Now, if you look at the topic, it says bird with a broken wing. I'm sure you wouldn't get anything out of it. It says bird with a broken wing. How is that supposed to mean anything? One thing I'm sure you could have guessed is it's something not right. We're talking about being crippled. Obviously, we're talking about being crippled, but not physically. We're talking about being crippled psychologically by the society. We're talking about being crippled of our dreams and following path that we more or less know what is going to happen to us. We're talking about belief systems that exist in the society which has been there for ages and they don't seem to change. Let me bring in this one phrase that all of us, I'm sure, have heard. It's called jack of all trades, master at none. Now, just look closely, not at me but here, and just think about it. Does it really say whether it's a right thing or a wrong thing? Does it say jack of all trades, master at none is bad? Or does it say jack of all trades, master at none is a good thing? Does it say no, right? Do we associate this phrase with something positive? Most of us would not. We have heard all the while that we have grown up that try and specialize in something. You need to grow up and be someone and not be a jack of all trades, otherwise you would end up being a master of none. Now, okay, that's me when I was really young, and that's me when I grew up a bit. So, I remember the question always kept coming, what would you want to be and what would happen when you grow up? What is it and everything. So, when we talk about crippled thoughts or maybe age-old practices that we have in the society, we don't let people decide, nor do we leave them choices. Now, I will try to convince you to understand that being a jack of all trades is not really a very bad thing. I know I'm a work in progress, but I know I haven't turned out to be really bad. Like, I'm fine as of now. So at least I have an understanding that being a jack of all trades might do something good to you. How do I convince you? I'll tell you 2 little stories from my life, and I'll just start with an introduction about me. And this is where I tell you exactly what I do. So yeah, what do I exactly do, and what gives me the authority, and why do I feel I'm the right person to actually be talking about this? Okay, I like this slide. Okay, yeah. So these are a couple of images of things that have happened as of now. Okay, so this is my basic introduction. I'm 21 years old. I am a NIFT graduate, that's National Institute of Fashion Technology, and yeah, I studied fashion. I'm not working in the fashion industry anymore, not that I ever worked. I never worked in the fashion industry. I graduated last year. I'm an entrepreneur. I have seen myself fail miserably in my first startup, and I did have a successful exit in the second one. I am a youth activist and a diplomat, and I like to call myself as a globetrotter. You'd get to know the reason soon. Apart from this, yes, I still follow the convention. I'm one of the first employees of a $1 million Indian startup. So yes, I work somewhere. So yes, now would you call me a jack of all trades? Would you or would you not? Just give me a yes or a no. Okay, that's just one girl, it's okay. So yes, you would call me a jack of all trades. Now, this is exactly where I began. Why would I do that? When people ask me, Ankur, what do you do? Yes, I have a hard time explaining it to them, because they would expect something like, okay, I am an engineer, I work at so and so, or maybe they would expect I'm a doctor. At the end of the day, I am none, and I actually am like 5 different things. It's like, okay, I can't digest this. This reminds me of my dad. So he once told me, I was back in college, like, Ankur, give me one small thing. Like, when people ask me, what are you doing? What do I tell them? Like, so once in a blue moon, or like pretty often, so people ask my dad, it's like, Akshay, what does Ankur do? So Akshay is my dad, just for the record. So it's not that I don't have a job that is not proud of me, or that I don't make money. Yes, I do make money, I have a job, but then the idea of me doing a couple of different things at the same point of time is not something people digest very easily. They still consider me as something that, okay, he's still figuring out. Maybe I'm like, okay. Or else, in some point of view, I'm actually a failure. People actually consider me a failure because of the fact, no, I'm not following the convention, or maybe I don't have respect for the status quo. Okay. So, doing a lot of different things. How did it all began? I remember when a couple of years back, if I count exactly, like 5 years back, or maybe 6 years back, I was exactly at the same place where you were. I was in your shoes, and so plus minus 1 or 2 years, I had just hit puberty. So okay, certain things mattered to me at that point of time. I was like, okay, I would want exactly what every one of you want here. I want to be popular. Yes, I wanted to be popular. Do you guys want to be popular? Yes or no? I mean, seriously, you know, you don't need to be scared about it right now. Do you guys want to be popular in school at least? Okay, so I hear them. So maybe because teachers can't see you, so you are like loud. Okay, good. So yes, I wanted to be popular. I wanted to make a lot of friends. And one of the biggest questions that I had in my mind was, how do I get girls to like me? I was like, okay. So yes, those are the questions that I had. And it's very evident I would have that. But why did I start diversifying? The reason is I don't have a clear answer to this. I don't have a well-versed answer for this. Maybe I was scared, or maybe I was confused, or maybe both. I started diversifying, doing different things, and did I know whether it would lead me where I am today? My dad somehow got this, and he always told me one thing, Ankur, it's fine to go out there and do something that you might possibly like. And you can try your hands and dip your fingers in wherever you want. So over the time, I tried keeping everyone happy. I had average grades. I tried doing 10 different things, and by the time I landed up in college, I knew one thing: I was not going to run for the race. I was not going to run behind GPA. I knew I had to keep people happy, so I made sure that I keep an average up. But I had diversified way too much to actually go back to the conventional line. Long story short, yeah, it was my graduation day, just before it was my placements and stuff. I saw myself opting out of placements. I ended up being a teacher. So I joined Teach for India for a year. I ended up being a teacher. I saw my first startup fail miserably. At the same point of time, my second startup got acquired, and yeah, that was a good thing. So of all of these things, one thing which leads me to the next part of the story is, there were points of time where I felt maybe I was not doing something right. Maybe I was bound to go wrong. Somewhere down the line, maybe I would fumble and I would fall. And I was scared of it. I really was scared of it, because I didn't have examples to look upon. I knew like big people doing several other different things before they reached where they were, but then I didn't know them personally. I didn't have a connect with them. When I didn't have a connect with them, I know I maybe do not fit the bill. But over time I realized, when I sat down and I looked at it, today I had the opportunity to try my hands on 10 different opportunities wherein I could try and build a career upon, which is way more than what my peers or my friends back in school or college would have got. They had 2 roads in front of them. For me, I had 10 roads in front of me. So that's the whole difference. People still ask me, like, not still ask me, they've always been asking me, do you plan to settle down? Like, I remember one of my aunt came up, I went to home 3 years back, like, one of my neighbor ki auntie came up, and she was like, okay Ankur, what are you doing now? I was like, auntie, I do this, this and this. I was like, okay, so you basically don't do anything. I was like, okay, so when do you plan to get married? I was like, I'm not of legal age to get married. Like, no, you plan to get married someday, right? I mean, you would hit 21 and then you'll be 20, 23 and then you get married, right? It's like, okay, so you need to get a job. You need to get a job and sit there. Like, sit there as if you're hatching an egg. Like, okay, it doesn't make sense much though. Yeah, okay auntie, I'll get a job. At the end of the day, I didn't even sit for placements. So that's what happened. It was a shock for them. Okay, he's unemployed. So these are certain things which have hit me hard, always. It's not just me, anyone who would have tried. I'm sure all of you have dreams, have tried doing several different things that you would possibly want. All of you have been hit hard by the society. Your peers, you'd be ridiculed, you'd be questioned upon, can you possibly do it? Why are you even doing 10 different things when you can't even manage your academics? But trust me, you would not regret it later on, because if you do not diversify right now at a point of time wherein you have a choice, it's not really easy down the line. People say you can start whenever you want. Face it, I mean, it's not that easy when you're 30 years old, when you have a family, when you have responsibilities. You would not just leave a job and just go out there, okay, I want to test things now. This doesn't happen. So what keeps me going and what have I found out of all of this? A couple of them are here. I have had opportunities which I don't think I would have had or I would have got if I would have followed the generic, maybe whatever you say. Some things that have always kept me going, 2 of them I would like to recall. One is, there's a number in my mind which always motivates me, and that's somehow related to this. If I am supposed to show you where I come from, I mean, you guys can spot Assam in this map. Yes, okay. So I come from a small little corner on the northeast of India. There was a point of time where it didn't exist on Google Maps. I mean, ma'am clarified it exists right now, but then yes, there was a point of time it didn't exist on Google Maps. I come from there, and this is exactly where my footfall is right now. At 21, I've been to 44 countries, and this number really motivates me. Apart from this, there's one more thing which has always pushed me. People say you find your calling, and to me it came while I was traveling, while I was trying my hands out on entrepreneurship and things like that. I realized travel, cultures and helping people somehow really motivate me, and it pushes me forward. Now, people still question me on that. Like, are you really suggesting me that I would do 10 different things just to find out what I like? That doesn't happen. In reality, it maybe is not possible, but trust me, it's not that hard. It is not that impossible to try your hands out on 10 different things at an early age. You don't need to go be a doctor, again you be an engineer, again you be something else, and then you decide, okay, I actually wanted to be a doctor. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, Try out every single thing that you possibly think you have an interest upon. Try out your passions. Discover something, that small ingredient that you need in your life in order to be happy. I have known people who have gone through their entire lives doing things that don't really like. So that's obviously not something that you would want to do, at least not in this century when you have unnecessary amounts of stress already building up. So yeah, it is true. Your life at an early stage is more about the journey. How do you build it up? One of the examples I'm sure all of us have heard and seen, it was made into a movie. So there's this mechanical engineer, okay? He goes out, takes up an IT job, and then he realizes, oh God, I like photography. My God, it's like clicking pictures here, everywhere. Like, okay, I like photography. I mean, I really like photography. I mean, really, are you telling me that you like photography so much? Why didn't you take it up as a profession? I mean, he's ready to drop his job right now, go to professional photography. Why did you spend 4 years in an engineering institute wherein you possibly didn't learn anything, because maybe you don't even like it? Why would you do that? I mean, why did that happen? That happened because we are so consumed in the society about the fact that yes, you need to specialize, you need to be that one thing and not do 10 different things. I mean, why not allow them? Why not respect that all-rounder we have out there when he's trying to do 10 things? Because somewhere down the line he would realize, yes, this is one thing that I would want to do. Most of the times we ask our kids to dream big. I mean, go dream big. I mean, go nuts. Dream. And then one day when we are in class 12, okay, bacha, are you giving AIEEE, IIT? And I'm like, okay, what happened to my dream? I don't know what happened to my dream, but yes, I'm supposed to sit for exams. It's not that I'm against it. The only thing that I'm trying to say is, do it when you really connect to it. You have time in your hand, figure out what you want to do. Try your hands on things that you have access to. I mean, you're really lucky that you have curriculum which allows you to actually do 10 things. Do it. Find out what you really want to do. Okay. So, yeah, I was supposed to tell you 2 different stories, but I actually combined it into one. I didn't even realize it. So, okay. So, towards the end, there's one thing. The biggest question that has come up, I mean, I'm 21, so obviously I am into 20s. I'm no longer a teenager and I'm not in college. So people expect me to be a bit stable and not dress up like this, I guess. So yeah, they say this, Ankur, do you plan to settle or do you plan to be a nomad all your life? I say I'm not against settling. I'm not against trying to specialize in one thing or do one thing. I'm not really against it. The only thing that I'm against is, if I'm figuring out, let me please figure out. I want to specialize, but I want to do it in something that I really am passionate about so that I can actually build upon it. I know I can earn money if I am doing something that I'm good at and that I really connect to. Let me do that. The only thing that I want everyone to take out of this is, for once, give that all-rounder a chance to figure out till a point of time that he wants to. Let us not push him towards the direction where he himself has not figured out. I mean, we have been breaking those wings full of dreams and possibilities for like ages now, but that time has passed. For once, let those wings take flight, and you never know, they might surprise you and you might really like it. I mean, I guess I'm done. I mean, thanks a lot.